My mom looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're not even family." Everyone froze. The music stopped and even the laughter died. I felt every gaze at that party turn toward me, waiting to see if I'd cry or walk away. But I didn't do either. I just smiled, because my reply was going to change everything. Before I tell you what I said, hit that subscribe, like, and share button, because this story will make you believe in karma, justice, and silent revenge. It all started when my dad remarried after my mom passed away. His new wife, Rebecca, made sure I always felt like a stranger in my own home. She called me the leftover from his first life. Dad tried to keep peace, but the truth was, she had already turned him against me. I worked 2 jobs just to pay for my college while they went on vacations without even telling me. Every visit home felt like walking into enemy territory. But tonight was worse. It was Dad's birthday party, a grand event at our family's mansion, with chandeliers, champagne, and guests dressed like royalty. I wasn't even invited. I found out from my cousin Emma's Instagram story. Still, I went. Not to crash it, but because I had something to tell Dad. Something that would flip this family upside down. As soon as I walked in, the whispers began. Oh, she showed up. Look at her dress, so plain. Rebecca smirked like she'd been waiting for this moment. She clinked her glass and said, "Everyone, look who's here. The daughter who left and never looked back." Laughter followed. My hands trembled, but I kept smiling. Then she stepped closer and hissed, "You're not even family anymore, Alexia." And that's when I said it, loud enough for everyone to hear. Funny you say that, because without me, this family wouldn't even have a house to stand in. The room went dead silent. Rebecca's face froze. Dad's glass slipped from his hand and the crowd gasped. But I wasn't done yet, not even close. Everyone stared at me like I'd just dropped a bomb. And honestly, I had. Rebecca blinked, trying to laugh it off. "What are you talking about, Alexia? You don't even have a proper job," she sneered, her voice dripping with fake confidence. I smiled calmly. "Oh, you mean the proper job that apparently doesn't count because it's not in your little social circle? The one that pays for this house's mortgage?" Gasps filled the room. People turned to Dad, who looked utterly confused. "Mortgage? What mortgage?" he asked, his tone shaky. Rebecca stammered, "Honey, she's lying. She's just jealous." "Jealous?" I cut her off. "I'm the one who saved this family when the bank was about to take everything. 3 years ago, Dad, you were drowning in debt. Rebecca told you to sell the house, remember? But I couldn't let go of Mom's memories, so I secretly bought the mortgage under my company's name and kept paying it off while you two enjoyed your vacations." The crowd murmured. Rebecca's face turned pale. "You expect us to believe that?" I pulled out my phone and opened an email. "You don't have to believe me. The bank manager already confirmed it this morning. Want to read the email, or should I show everyone here?" Dad's lips trembled. He grabbed the phone, his eyes scanning the screen. Slowly, he looked up, the color draining from his face. "It's true," he whispered. The entire hall went silent again, like time had stopped. Rebecca's confident smile finally cracked. You did this to embarrass me?" "No," I said, steady but cold. "I did this to save Dad's home. You just made sure he forgot who actually cared." People began whispering louder now. My relatives, the same ones who once laughed at me, were suddenly looking at me with wide eyes and forced smiles. I could feel the power shift in the air. Then Dad said something I never expected. "Alexia, why didn't you tell me sooner?" I stared at him, my heart pounding. "Because you wouldn't have believed me, Dad. You already chose her side." Rebecca suddenly slammed her glass down and snapped, "You're manipulating him, Alexia. You think buying one thing makes you special? You're still nothing compared to—" She didn't get to finish, because the doors opened, and someone walked in who made everyone freeze. It was Ethan, my late mom's lawyer, and the one man Rebecca never wanted to see again. His sudden entrance made the entire hall go silent. He walked in confidently, holding a thick brown folder. Rebecca's face turned ghost white. "Sorry to interrupt the party," Ethan said, his calm voice cutting through the tension. "But I think Alexia deserves the truth tonight." Rebecca panicked. "What are you doing here? You have no right." He ignored her completely and turned to my dad. "Mr. Cooper, before your first wife passed, she made a will. One that somehow never reached you, Dad frowned. A will? But Rebecca told me there wasn't one. Ethan opened the folder, pulling out neatly sealed documents. That's because Rebecca destroyed the original copy years ago. But your wife's lawyer kept a backup. The room exploded with murmurs. Rebecca's voice cracked. That's a lie. He's making this up to help her. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Then maybe you can explain why your signature appears on a withdrawal slip, the one you used to empty Alexia's college fund. Gasps echoed through the room. My chest tightened, but I didn't move. I just stared at her. Rebecca's fake elegance was gone, her lipstick trembling, her hands shaking. Dad snatched the paper from Ethan's hand, his eyes scanning every line. You took her college money? He said, his voice breaking. I did it for us, she shouted. For this house. For our family, Ethan smirked. Actually, you used it for a luxury trip to Paris. The receipts are attached. A loud murmur swept the guests. Whispers, gasps, even laughter from the back. Rebecca looked around like a trapped animal. This is all her plan. Alexia set this up! I finally stepped forward. You're right, I said softly. I did set this up, because the truth deserves a spotlight. You made me feel like I didn't belong, but everything you're standing on exists because of me and my mother's legacy. Dad dropped the papers, guilt written all over his face. Rebecca, get out, he said quietly, his voice shaking with anger. But Rebecca's eyes narrowed at me. You think this is over? You think money makes you part of this family again? You'll regret this, Alexia. She stormed out, heels clacking, while the guests watched her crumble. For the first time, I should have felt peace, but deep down, I knew this wasn't over, because what Rebecca said next, before leaving that hall, changed everything again. Just as Rebecca reached the door, she turned back and yelled, You think you won, Alexia? Then tell them the whole truth. Tell them where that money really came from. The entire hall froze. My heart dropped. I hadn't expected her to know that. Ethan tried to step forward, but I raised my hand. No, I said quietly. Let her speak. Rebecca smirked, her voice dripping venom. Everyone's praising her for saving the house. But none of you know, she didn't earn that money from some company. She got it from her mother's secret account, the one hidden from your father. People gasped again. Dad's face turned red with confusion. What is she talking about? Rebecca grinned, enjoying the chaos she'd just unleashed. Your first wife, Laura, had a hidden investment fund. Millions. And guess who inherited it all? Your precious daughter. She didn't tell you because she wanted control, just like her mother did. For a moment, I couldn't even breathe. The air in the room felt heavy. Every face around me was waiting for me to deny it. But I didn't. Instead, I looked straight at my dad. She's not lying, I said softly. Mom left me that money. But what she didn't tell you, Rebecca, is why. Rebecca frowned, suddenly uneasy. My mom created that account before she got sick, I continued, because she knew once she was gone, someone would try to take everything. And she was right. The day after her funeral, Rebecca moved in and convinced my dad to sign every property paper without reading. Mom foresaw this. She wanted her daughter protected. Ethan nodded firmly. It's all documented, Mr. Cooper. Laura's will clearly states the separate trust was meant for Alexia's education and future security, not for shared family use. Rebecca scoffed. Oh, how convenient. So you admit you used your mother's money to buy this house? I stepped closer, my tone calm but sharp. Yes, I did. Because that money came from her hard work, not yours. She built it, I protected it. And unlike you, Rebecca, I didn't steal it. I used it to keep this family together, even when no one cared about me. The guests started clapping slowly, one by one. Rebecca's face burned with humiliation as she realized she'd just destroyed herself trying to expose me. But Dad wasn't clapping. His eyes were full of tears, guilt, regret, and something deeper. Alexia, he whispered. All these years, I let her treat you like a stranger. I swallowed hard. You just believed what was easier to hear, Dad. I stopped expecting you to defend me long ago. The crowd went quiet again. For the first time in years, I saw my father look small. Rebecca suddenly screamed, You all think she's some hero? You're fools! You have no idea what's coming next. Then she stormed out, slamming the door so hard the chandelier trembled. Ethan turned to me. "She's bluffing," he said softly. But something in my gut twisted. Rebecca never bluffed. And if she said something was coming next, it meant she still had one card left to play. And I was about to find out exactly what that was. Because 10 minutes later, as everyone tried to calm down, my dad's phone rang. He looked at the screen, his face drained of color, and whispered, "It's the bank." When he answered, his hand started shaking. Then his eyes met mine, and he said the words that made my blood run cold. "Alexia. The account you used to pay the mortgage. It's been hacked." The entire room fell into stunned silence. My dad's trembling voice echoed through the speakers. "The account's empty, Alexia. Every dollar. It's gone." My heart stopped. I could feel the ground slipping beneath me. Ethan snatched the phone from Dad's hand and spoke urgently, but the expression on his face said it all. Rebecca's threat wasn't just words. She'd struck back. "Trace it," Ethan ordered the banker. "Find out where the funds were transferred." But even before the answer came, I already knew. "She did it," I whispered. "Rebecca hacked into the account." Dad stared at me, guilt and panic written all over his face. "But how?" "She was just here," Ethan's jaw tightened. "She must have planned this days ago. Probably used access codes from when she handled the estate documents." People began whispering again, phones flashing, gossip spreading like wildfire. The same guests who mocked me earlier were now watching like it was a real-life movie, but I wasn't going to break. Not this time. I took a deep breath and said, "Let her enjoy it, because she just stole something that isn't even mine." Everyone looked confused. I turned toward the crowd and continued. "That account she drained? It was a decoy. The real inheritance, Mom's actual assets, were moved months ago into my company's name." Ethan smirked, finally catching on. "Smart girl." Rebecca had thought she'd taken everything, but she'd only triggered her own downfall. Within minutes, Ethan showed everyone the legal proof. Rebecca's attempt to hack a trust account was now a federal crime. Just then, a security guard from outside rushed in. "Miss Alexia," he said breathlessly, "the police are here. They found Rebecca trying to flee in a rental car with a fake ID." Gasps filled the room. Dad covered his face in shame as I whispered, "It's over." Moments later, the cops escorted Rebecca through the same hallway where she once humiliated me. Cameras flashed, guests whispered, and her perfect image shattered like glass. She shot me one last venomous glare before disappearing out the door, handcuffed, defeated, exposed. When the noise settled, Dad walked toward me. His voice broke as he said, "I don't deserve forgiveness, Alexia. But I need you to know, your mother would be proud of you." I looked at him, the man who once believed I wasn't even family, and finally smiled. "She already is, because I didn't fight to destroy this family, Dad. I fought to remind you who really built it." The music started again, softer this time. Guests who once mocked me now came forward, shaking my hand, congratulating me, but I didn't need applause. I just looked up at the grand chandelier and whispered under my breath, "We did it, Mom." That night, I walked out of that mansion not as the forgotten daughter, but as the woman who turned humiliation into power and silence into legacy. And from that day forward, whenever anyone said I wasn't family, I simply smiled, because I knew I was the only reason the family still stood at all.